Hello and welcome to this video. My name's Beckham. Recently I published a video on the subject of basic modifiers within PTE-AV-Studio, and I've had one contact asking me how I create the 3D rotation. Now I have covered this in a number of videos and you'll find them listed under Pictures to XE9. Remember, the techniques for this is exactly the same in previous versions as it is in the latest version, PTE-AV-Studio 10. Now the 3D animation we're talking about is when one image is displayed, it turns around to display a second image. Let's take a look at how this is done. As you can see by the content of my file list, I'm going to demonstrate this using these two images because it's going to be much easier for us to see if we've got all of the animation and the orientation of the images correct. I'm going to start down in the slide list down at the bottom of the screen, click into the slide list, right click, and I'm going to insert a blank slide. I'll just give this a little more time, although it's not vital to what we're about to do. I'm going to open up that blank into the Objects and Animation screen, and immediately I'm going to go up to Add an Image, and I'm going to add the image that's going to be on the face of our 3D rotation. So that's the one I want, 3D rotation front, and I'll open that. I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. No real reason for doing this, it's not essential, but it just helps us to see the rotation maybe marginally better. Now I'm going to create a second keyframe to apply the 180-degree rotation. Going down to the timeline, I can right click and I'm going to add a keyframe, and while that keyframe is selected, I can go to my rotate options, liven them up by ticking the box. I can choose any one of these, but with the landscape it would seem logical that the one we're going to want is the Y. So in the Y I'm going to place 180, and if I put my cursor back at the start you can see exactly what we've just done. Now I'll stop it at that position because what we need to do next is to make a child of the parent. The parent in this case is the 3D rotation front. When we add another image as a child, then the animation we've applied to this image will automatically be transferred to the child. So with the 3D rotation front selected down at the bottom right corner, this is going to form the parent. So what I need to do is to add the child image, the one that's going to follow the 180-degree rotation we've already applied. So right click and add an image. The image we're going to need is the 3D rotation rear. Now when you think about it, with the cursor at the start of the animation, we shouldn't be seeing 3D rotation image for the rear. We should be seeing the image for the front. So what we've got to do is hide this image. But let's leave that just for a moment. What I'm going to do first of all is to select both of these by holding the Control key so we can see the keyframes of both. Because what I'd like to do is select the keyframe of the 3D rotation rear, but I want to move the cursor to the position where we should be seeing the 3D rotation rear, but we should be seeing it the right way round. So what it means is I've actually got to put a 180-degree rotation Y into this image as well. So let's do that. And now things are beginning to come together. But look what happens when I put my cursor back to the start. We still have a problem with now the rear of the image for the rear showing, when really we want the other image which seems to be hidden. What we need to do is to hide the backside of the child. The child in this case is the rear image, and we do that by selecting the keyframe, by going to our properties, by going down to these options under common and unticking show the backside. And as soon as we do that, our 3D rotation is done. Now, one or two things you could do. One of those is maybe you could save this as a slide style, so anytime in the future you need a 3D rotation, there you have it at almost one click. But if we're going to rotate an image, quite often we're going to need to add a little bit of speed. In other words, one of the speed options such as smooth, slow down or accelerate. Now when you look at the parent image here, which is our 3D rotation front, we can see that the rotation will start while the image is fading onto the screen. If I select both of these, and the rotation is more likely to happen after the image has appeared on screen, because we're going to want to see the 3D rotation image on the front for a little while before it spins round to show us the reverse. In that case, we're going to need to select the parent, the front image, and we're going to need to adjust the speed options. And because the animation is beginning with the image fully on screen, the most likely choice is going to be smooth. So we go to the rotate options, and with the first keyframe selected of the parent image, we add a modifier. Let me select that again. There we have it. Add a modifier, animation speed, smooth. So now if I put the cursor just before that first keyframe, the rotation now starts off lovely and smooth, slow at first and slow to come to a stop. If you've been watching this video on YouTube, can I encourage you to subscribe to my channel? And if you hit that notification bell, you'll be informed whenever I put up new content. I'll see you next time.